Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear students of the General Secondary Certificate. Welcome back to your program Madrasa ala al-Hawa. Today, inshallah, we'll continue our revision about your syllabus. Don't forget to get your copybook, your calculator, your pencil. We continue our discussion or revision about chapter 2, then continue to chapter 3. Actually, we solve the questions of the book and the student evaluation guide because they are the most important references for the students. And then we'll continue the revision by the questions of the exams from the previous years. Let's first welcome to your guest and my guest, Mr. Muhammad Abdullah Riyad. Welcome back, Mr. Muhammad.
Welcome.
Today, inshallah, we'll continue our revision about chapter 2, then to chapter 3 by the questions of the book and the student evaluation guide.
Yes.
We stopped at the question such as a table. This question came in 2006 before. They give them the concentration of OH, I guess 2006 or 2007.
Yes.
They give them the pH or the concentration of H or the pOH or the concentration of OH. And they need the other information.
Yes.
For example, if we give them the concentration of H, which is 1 times 10 to the power negative 11, and they ask for the pH. Could we learn our students how to solve this kind of questions?
The pH value of a solution concentration of hydrogen ion equals 1 times 10 to the power negative 11. Let's at first know what's meant by pH. pH value, it is a method used to detect the acidity or alkalinity of a solution. pH ranging from the scale of pH ranging from 0 up to 14. When the solution has pH 0, this means that it has the strongest acid. While pH 14, it means that this solution has or is the strongest base. While pH 7 means that the solution is neutral. So the numbers from 0 up to 7 mean that acidic solution. While pH from 7 up to 14, this means basic solution. So when we know the pH of a solution, we can know if it has acidic effect or basic effect or neutral. Also, when the number of pH decreases, it means that it is a strong acid, which means that pH, for example, pH 1, strongest acid than pH 6, for example, or pH 5. So when the number of pH decreases, it will be a strong acid. When the pH equals 0, it is the strongest acid. By the way, when the pH increase, it means that a strong base over 7. Strong base. So we can say that pH equals 13 has strong basic than solution has pH 8 or 9. This is about the importance of pH. But how can we get pH? The concentration of this solution, we said that concentration of hydrogen equals 1 times 10 to the power negative 11. pH means that pH value, it is the negative logarithm concentration of hydrogen ion. So in order to get pH of this solution, pH equals negative log 10 to the power negative 11, which equals 11. So pH, we can get pH from the value negative log concentration of hydrogen ion. So we have a definition of pH. pH is the negative logarithm concentration of hydrogen, And I can see that the scale of pH scale, it is the method used to detect the solution of it is acid or base or neutral.
Thank you for your answer. The next one is OH concentration is 1 times 10 to the power negative 5.
Concentration of OH 1 times 10 to the power negative 5. By the way, the pOH value, pOH equals negative log concentration of OH negative ion. So pOH equals negative log 1 times 10 to the power negative 5, and this equals 5. And take care, and pOH plus pH equals 14. So if we have a pH of a solution, we can get pOH. If we have pOH of a solution, we can get pH. This is why, because pH plus pOH equals 14. Okay.
The next one, he gives the student the pH and asks for the H ion concentration and the OH negative ion concentration both. The pH equals 6.
pH equals 6. So pOH 14 minus 6, it will be 8. So if we want to know the concentration of hydrogen ion, it will be 10 to the power negative 6, because the negative logarithm of 10 to the power negative 6 equal 6. If we want to know the concentration of hydroxide ion, it will be 10 to the power negative 8. So if we know one of them, pH or pOH, we can get concentration of hydrogen and the concentration of OH.
Then the last one is the pOH equal 12.
pOH equals 12. From 14, the rest will be 2, so pH will be 2. If we want to know the concentration of hydrogen ion, it will be 10, 1 times 10 to the power negative 2. And OH negative ion concentration will be 10 to the power negative 12. This is about the pH and pOH for solutions.
Actually, the question said that we have 4 give reasons at the end of this chapter. They are very important give reason. I need you to learn, our students, how to answer this type of question. The one said sodium carbonate has alkaline effect on litmus paper. How can they answer this kind of question? What are the requirements for the points of answering this question?
Okay. There are 2 types of questions about these points. It may be choose, without explaining, and maybe how to explain the answer. At first, I want to make a simple diagram. BA, it is a salt. Hydrolysis means that dissolving the salt in water to give acid and base. The first part of this salt will be the basic or the positive radical, and the second will be the negative part or the acidic part of the salt. By examining the first part, if I found it contains potassium or sodium, maybe calcium or magnesium, it will be a strong base. The first part contains potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium. Group 1A or group 2A in the periodic table, we know that this is strong metals. So it is a strong base, will be strong base. I will explain how. And the second part, which refers to the basic part, it contains SO4. I know that this is the positive part. I said positive 2, positive 2. Negative 2, sulfate radical, or nitrate, or chloride, or bromide, or iodide, group 7A. This will be a strong acid. The part comes from a strong acid. if the salt comes from strong base and strong acid contains K, Na, calcium, and sulfate or nitrate or chloride, it will be neutral. For example, potassium sulfate, strong base and strong acid, it will be neutral. Sodium nitrate, sodium chloride, the two parts are strong, comes from strong alkali and strong base, it will be neutral. If the one is found, maybe the part 1, which refers to the basic, is found, and the last one not found, it will be a strong base, so the salt has basic effect. Basic effect. For example, according to the questions, sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. The first one, sodium, strong base, comes from sodium hydroxide, strong base. And the second one, carbonate, comes from carbonic acid. It is a weak acid. So, strong base and weak acid, it will be, has basic effect. Basic effect. This is about how to choose. Ammonium chloride, another salt. The first one, ammonium, I said that the strong base will be sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium. Ammonium, it is not a strong, it is a weak base, comes from ammonium hydroxide. Yeah, but this is a weak part. And chloride comes from hydrochloric acid, strong acid. This is strong, so the salt will be acidic effect. What's about sodium chloride, ammonium carbonate, or ammonium acetate? Sodium chloride, NaCl, comes from strong base with strong acid, so it has neutral effect. Neutral effect. Ammonium carbonate, NH4 all by 2 CO3. This comes from weak base and weak acid, so it has also neutral effect. Take care about the organic salts. For example, sodium acetate, CH3COO Na. The last part is the basic part. This is strong base and this is a weak acid, so it has basic effect. This is how to answer the effect of the salt, if it has acidic or basic, or the effect of this salt on litmus. This is choose, but when the question is explain or give reason why, we must try it as follows. Number 1, for example, says that sodium carbonate. At first, sodium carbonate is ionized into 2 sodium positive ion plus carbonate CO3 negative 2. Carbonate negative 2. Then I get 2 molecules of water. Why? Because here are 2 positive ions or 2 negative charge. So the number of molecules of water equals the number of positive charge or equals the number of negative charge. Here are 2 positive or 2 negative, so we get 2 molecules of water. It is decomposed into 2H and 2OH negative. 2OH negative plus 2H positive. The equals of the two equations, sodium carbonate NO2CO3 plus water, 2H2O. It will be, here's the sodium and the hydroxide, sodium Na and the hydroxide OH. I said that sodium hydroxide is a strong base. Strong electrete means what? Strong electrete means it is a completely ionized. So sodium hydroxide must be written as follows: 2 Na positive plus 2 OH negative. Again, Sodium hydroxide is a strong electrolyte, must be written as a completely ionized 2Na positive plus 2OH negative. 2Na positive and plus 2OH negative. While hydrogen combine with carbonate to form H2CO3 because it is a weak electrolyte. Carbonic acid is a weak electrolyte. So when hydrogen combine with carbonate to form carbonic acid, the concentration of hydrogen decrease. Concentration of hydrogen decrease. According to Le Chatelier, the water is ionized to form more hydrogen to compensate the concentration of hydrogen which decreases. So it gives OH and H positive ion. H combined with carbonate to form carbonic acid. So more amount of water will be ionized to form OH negative ion and H positive. So at the end of this reaction, the concentration of OH negative ion will increase. When the concentration of OH increases, it will be basic effect. Basic effect. So when I want to explain the effect of a salt on litmus or on whatever the effect of these salts, at first I make equations to find how to show the ionization of the salt, positive and negative ion, and ionization of water. We get number of molecules of water equals the number of positive charge or equals the number of negative charge. And then the result will be, it may be strong base or strong acid, which means completely ionized. If the salt comes from weak acid or weak alkali, the weak acid or weak alkali will be not completely ionized, so it will be written as follows. No, I will not write as ions. So here in this equation I found that the concentration of OH more than concentration of OH. So I will write according to Le Chatelier. This sentence is according to Le Chatelier, concentration of OH increases, so it has basic effect. Another example, and I can write simplified these equations. If it asks about ammonium chloride, for example, ammonium chloride, so I can write only one equation. The final equation here, I get one molecule of water because this is a positive one charge or negative one, and then NH4 and OH, this is a weak alkali, will be NH4OH together. OH combined with NH4 to be NH4OH. And HCl, I said that it is a strong acid. Strong acid will be completely ionized. The H and the Cl ions will be separated. According to Le Chatelier, concentration of OH increase, concentration of H positive ion increases or more than OH negative ion increases, so it has acidic effect. Why? Because concentration of H increase. This is how to explain the effect of salts. If it is the neutral, I take example of it is sodium chloride, for example, or ammonium acetate, comes from two strong radicals or two weak. Sodium chloride in ACl plus water, HOH. Sodium hydroxide is a strong electrolyte, completely ionized in A positive plus OH negative. And the hydrochloric acid also is strong, Cl negative plus H positive. In this reaction, it contains OH negative and H positive. The concentration of H positive equals concentration of OH negative, so it is neutral. It is neutral. This is about the water. We can write the last one if it comes from two weak radicals, ammonium carbonate or ammonium acetate. Let's take ammonium acetate, CH3 COONH4, ammonium acetate plus water H2O. It gives two weak parts, CH3 COOH, it is a weak acid, not completely ionized, and ammonium hydroxide also is a weak base, so it has neutral effect because the concentration of OH equals concentration of H ion, so it has neutral effect. So here we has four examples. One comes from strong acid and weak base, it will be acidic effect. Comes from salt, comes from strong base and weak acid, it will be basic effect. If the salt comes from strong acid and strong base or weak acid and weak base, it will be neutral. It has neutral effect. Strong acid or strong base means completely ionized, while weak is a partially ionized. This is about how to answer the question of it. Choose, I explain how can I detect the effect of salts. If it asks me about the give reason, I will explain, must be right by equation as I explained.
Thank you for this great answer. We have a question about an equation obeying Le Chatelet principle. Said that N2 gas plus O2 gas
it gives 2NO
minus energy. Here, what are the effects of heat, pressure?
What are the effect of the effect of 1 heat,
pressure,
2 pressure,
3 concentrations of the reactants,
concentration of reactants,
on the quantity of the product, NO.
On the product.
After you answer the question, we need to show our students that there is a difference between delta H or writing the energy in one of the other sides.
Okay.
So we need to show the students how to answer the way these two types of questions.
Okay. At first, I want to explain delta H, exothermic and endothermic. When he says that N2 plus O2 gives 2NO negative energy, so the energy or negative heat will be in the other side. So the reaction will be N2 plus O2 plus heat, it gives 2NO. So when we write the heat here or in the other side, by negative sign, I will be changing it to the other side to be positive side. So this reaction is endothermic. How we know the endothermic? Endothermic means that the heat in the reactants. This form will be endothermic, or this form in the product's negative heat or negative energy will be endothermic, or delta H will be positive. When we say delta H is positive, it will be also endothermic, or said endothermic reaction. So endothermic reaction means the energy in the with the reactants. This is number one. From the equation, it may be plus heat or the product negative heat or negative energy, or delta H equal positive value, or it says that endothermic. By the way, exothermic, the opposite of this. If it writes the reaction as follows: N2 plus 3H2, it gives 2NH3 plus energy. This will be exothermic. Exothermic also can be written as follows: N2 plus 3H2, negative energy, it gives 2NH3. Negative energy, this will be in the other side to positive energy. It is also exothermic. Exothermic, the energy with the product, or delta H will be a negative value. At first, I must know this reaction is exothermic or endothermic. Let's return to the questions. N2 plus O2, 2NO, negative heat or negative energy. We say that it is endothermic. Endothermic means it must be as follows: N2 plus O2 plus heat or plus energy, it will be 2NO. And we want to know the effect of these factors. The factors were the effect of heat, effect of pressure, effect of concentration of the reactants, increase in nitrogen or increase in oxygen, on the concentration of products, on the concentration of NO. This is will obey Le Chatelier's principle. Le Chatelier says that change in any condition of the chemical equilibrium, change any conditions of the chemical equilibrium, such as concentration, temperature, or pressure, will shift the equilibrium to the side will be opposite this change, will be shift the direction of the equilibrium to the side will be opposite this change. Now the first one asks about the effect of heat. Take care. Some students answer the direction, said that go forward or backward only, but we must know the points, the importance point of the question. He asked about the effect of this on the concentration of products. If I find or I said it is a forward or backward, I must write of the NO increase or decrease. When NO increase, when the reaction shifted forward towards the NO, so the NO increase. When this reaction, the effect of these points backward, so the concentration of NO will be decreases. In order to answer about the effect of heat, we must know if it is endothermic or exothermic. Here N2 plus O2 plus heat will be 2NO. When we increase temperature, increase the heat, according to Le Chatelier, will shift to the opposite side of the heat. Yani the reaction will be shifted forward. He wants to know the effect of these factors on the concentration of NO. When this reaction is shifted forward, it will be increased concentration of NO increases. After I will answer these questions, I want to ask the miss to explain a simple way to know the direction of this thing. This is number one. Let's to answer the three factors, and then she will explain how to by simple way. The effect of number one, the effect of heat increase the concentration. Why? Because it is the endothermic reaction. Na2 plus O2 plus heat to NO. Number 2, what is the effect of pressure? Number 1 كان about الheat, pressure. In order to know pressure, we must know the number of moles in each side. Here 1 mole of nitrogen and 1 mole of oxygen. يبقى 2 moles of reactants and the products 2 mole of nitric oxide. So the pressure in reactants equals the pressure of the product. So the pressure has no effect. When the pressures are equal in both sides, so it has no effect. Number 3, the effect of concentration of increase concentration of reactants. Means that increase the concentration of nitrogen or oxygen. The reaction will be shifted forward, means that increase the concentration of nitric oxide. So to answer these questions, increase the heat will be increase concentration of NO. Increase or decrease the pressure has no effect. Increase the concentration of reactants will be increase the concentration of products. How can you explain this way?
Actually, as we see on the data show and on the paper, please write the reaction equation in a big way. Dear student will explain to you how simply you can know the direction of the reaction by a simple way. Please look to the data show with Mr. Muhammad, then on the paper. As we see here, if we put the marker on the side of the 2 arrows, here, suppose he asked you to how to increase the concentration of NO. So what does it mean? It means that he needs you to form more NO. So shifting the reaction forward. To shift the reaction forward means that you make your marker in the side which form NO. So if we put a marble at the top of the marker, this marble will slide down toward the NO. So what does it mean? It means that we increase the concentration of nitrogen, the concentration of oxygen, and increasing the temperature. And as you see, the number of molecules on both sides are equal, so the pressure has no effect here. But if he asks you what happens if the NO concentration increase, so when you put your marker or your pen, the NO increase direction, so this means the reaction shift backward. So this means that it moves toward the left side or the reactant side. So there is a big difference between 2 questions. Number 1, what you do to increase the concentration of NO. What happens, number 2, what happens if the NO increased. So don't get confused, dear students. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad, for this.
Okay, I have a question here. What's about how decrease the temperature by this way?
Okay, let's have the data show again. Here on the data show, as you see, if we decrease the temperature, so means that you took your pen to lower down, yes, you see your marker will go on the other side of the reactants, so this means lowering the temperature will shift the reaction backward, and this is correct for the endothermic reactions. So lowering the temperature shift backward, so decreasing the concentration of the products.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, dear students, I hope so that this simple way to explain it to you help you to apply Le Chatelet principle. Let's turn back to our question. Here we have the last question in chapter 2. It was in student evaluation guide. This question said that if the KSP for calcium fluoride, CaF2,
yes, KSP equals
3.9 times 10 to the power negative 11. He needs the solubility of calcium fluoride in water. He needs the solubility of calcium fluoride in water in gram per liter.
Solubility of calcium fluoride in gram per liter. Given that the calcium 40.
Yes, and then F is 19.
19. Okay. This is an important question. Let's to explain about the solubility products. If we have, for example, AgCl, and this is precipitate, it gives Ag positive plus Cl negative. In order to get constant Kc, it will be concentration of products Ag positive times concentration of negative divided by the concentration of products. But we say that in order to get the constant Kc, Kb, Kw, whatever, I will explain this, we cancel the value of solid or precipitate because it has a constant concentration. Also, we cancel the concentration of water if the water is a liquid. So here it is a solid precipitate. We cancel the concentration of AgCl. So Kc will be Ag times Cl. And this is a precipitate substance. We call this constant Ksp, solubility product. In order to get solubility product equals concentration of or degree of solubility of the product. What's about the value of this equation? For example, if it is PaCl2, it will be, this is precipitate also, barium positive 2 plus 2Cl negative. So Ksb will be concentration of barium positive 2 times concentration of Cl raised to the power equal 2. What's about the 2 here? We must write the 2 as a power of this concentration. If 2, how can we write it inside the arrow or we cancel it? This is very important point. If the value of the product of the value, only one value, or say degree of solubility, I must write the 2 because this is not the same amount of ions. If it gives two different concentration, two values, so we cancel 2 because it gives the concentration. In this problem, if it says that, given that, find Ksb, solubility product, given that the concentration of barium equals maybe 2 times 10 to the power negative 5, and the concentration of chlorine 4 times 2 to the power negative 5. So I don't write the number 2. But if it says that the degree of solubility, it gives only one value, degree of solubility equals 10 to the power negative 6. Take care. Here I write 10 to the power negative 6, but for chloride ion, 2 times 10 to the power negative 6. But don't forget the value, the power will be right, will be written. Okay, this is about the using a number inside the brackets or not. Again, if it gives 2 different values, we don't write the 2. If it gives only one value, I will say that degree of solubility, so I must write the number of ions inside the brackets. This is about our question here. See that CaF2. It is ionized to give calcium positive 2 plus 2F negative. KSB will be concentration of calcium positive 2 and concentration of F negative to the power 2. If I take a same value of calcium and fluorine, I must write 2 here. طب why? Because it gives the KSB, which equals 3.9 times 10 to the power negative 11. I suppose that's the concentration or the degree of solubility of calcium and fluorine, X. So it will be concentration of calcium, X. Degree of solubility, X. Degree of solubility of fluoride, 2x to the power 2. Take care. Here we write x because we get the same value of calcium ion and fluoride ion. Okay, this is very important point because I get for H1 the same value. So 3.9 times 10 to the power negative 11 will be x times 2x to the power 2. So 3.9 times 10 to the power negative 11 will be 4x to the power 3. Here I want to know the x. X will be cubic root of 3.9 times 10 to the power negative 11 divided 4. Okay, this is whatever will be, maybe whatever value. By calculator we can get this is a value, I think 2.1 or whatever.
And okay, suppose it's 2.4.
2.4, maybe
okay,
2.4.
mole per liter. The question is.
And this is mole, take care, mole per liter. Mole per liter. But we want to get this value per gram per liter. So we must convert mole into gram. We know that in mole, in order to convert into gram, mole per liter, يبقى the value 2.4 times molecular mass. Molecular mass. The molecular mass of calcium fluoride equals 40 plus 2 fluorine 38. It will be 78. So the value of the degree of solubility of this calcium or fluoride per gram per liter will be 2.4, this value, times 78 gram per liter. Here take care, 2 points, 2 very important points. Number 1, let's refer another times. Here the 2 ions different, 1 calcium and 2 fluoride ion. I take a x, for example, unknown symbol for the value of this degree, so I must write 2. This is number 1. Number 2, the value comes by mole per liter. In order to convert mole per liter, I use this value by the molecular mass of the substance. Here's the substance calcium fluoride, calcium 40, LF 19 by 2 يبقى 38, it will be 78. Then the value of X by molecular mass, so the value will be gram per liter.
Thank you. Now let's transfer to chapter 3. It's electrochemistry or electrochemistry. Firstly, we have a question of choose. Said that choose the moving material bodies in molten or solution that are rich in electrons are positive ions or negative ions or molecules.
Take care about the conductivity materials, or the materials which conduct electricity. The electricity can transfer from one point to another in a metal, in a wire of copper, piece of gold, piece of iron, as a free electrons. Free electrons. So we call these materials electronic conductors. Electronic conductors. But when the electricity passes in a solution, liquid, it will be passed in the form of free ions. Free ions. So this solution is called electrolyte. So the electrolyte, it is the solution, substance, liquid, which conduct electricity as a form of free ions. So here the free ions may be positive ion or negative ions. Ions may be positive ions or negative ions. So here the particles, the parts which move in the solution and reach in negative charge will be negative ions. It will be negative ions. So the answer will be negative ions. While about the substance, what are the three choose?
The three choices are positive ions, negative
Positive
ions.
ion, no. Positive ion, it has less amount of electrons or less amount of charge. It may be sodium positive ion when loses one electron. Why negative ion? For example, chloride ion, it gains more electrons. So it will be negative ion.
Okay, thank you. The next question said that calculate the number of Faradays necessary to deposit.
Number of Faraday.
Necessary to deposit gram atom of aluminium during electrolysis of Al2O3.
Bauxite. Okay. Here let's to write about how to answer the problem of Faraday first law or second law. The relation between amount of electricity and the mass formed at electrodes. It may be dissolved, deposited, or evolved if it was a gas. If the mass equals gram atom, right, as this, or we write it gram dot atom. Gram atoms, so the electricity will be, it is a rule, electricity will be ZF. Z means valency and F means Faraday. It is the quantity of electricity. So when in the example it says that how amount of electricity needed to precipitate gram atom of substance, gram atom, so the electricity will be the value of the valency times Faraday. And they ask about the number of Faraday or the electricity needed to precipitate gram atom of aluminum from bauxite. Here the valency of aluminum positive 3, so the valency is 3, so the electricity equal 3 Faraday. How amount of electricity needed to precipitate gram atom of copper? For example, I want the electricity to precipitate gram atom of copper from copper sulfate. The valency of copper here divalent, or he write the equations at cathode copper positive 2 plus 2 electrons. From these equations, reduction to gives precipitate copper, I know that the valency 2. So electricity will be ZF or 2 Faraday because Z valency equals 2. This is about the amount of electricity. If you ask about amount of Coulomb, so I convert Faraday into Coulomb. We know that 1 Faraday equals 96500 Coulomb. So this number 2 times 96500 Coulomb.
Thank you. The next one said that write down the cell diagram
Cell diagram
of a galvanic cell. Formed from tin 2 positive, SN2 positive, slash SN, and silver positive,
silver Ag
positive,
positive,
slash silver,
Ag,
electrodes,
given that
and calculate the EMF.
cell diagram number 1. Number 2 عاوز ال EMF.
If you know that there is standard reduction potential
reduction potential
are negative 0.14,
then negative
0.14,
0.14,
and 0.8 respectively, volts respectively.
Ag positive
Mm.
0.8.
Volts respectively.
So respectively about the 10 at first and then
Yes,
silver.
the silver.
Here I can write small diagram to facilitate the cell diagram problems. I write a table. This table contains oxidation and reduction. Oxidation potential, reduction potential. The two elements here, 10 SN and Ag. And then I write the oxidation and the reduction and let this all valency of H1. When it says that Sn positive 2, means that the valence of the Sn2 and Ag positive valence of silver 1. He said that reduction of Sn and here the reduction negative 0.14. So the oxidation the same value but by different sign. The oxidation will be positive 0.14. And the reduction of Ag positive 0.8. So the oxidation will be the same value but in different sign, negative 0.8. And this side, under this line, I write the salt bridge. I write here anode. Oxidation occurs at anode. When of this will be oxidized, which has high value, here high value for Sn. So Sn will be oxidized. Oxidized means that losing electron, means that oxidation number increase. So Sn convert from 0 up to positive. Positive how? Positive 2, because it has 2 charge or valency 2. The other side under reduction, I write the cathode. Why? Because the cathode will be reduced. Here the cathode reduction will be has high value of silver. So silver Ag positive will be reduced to be Ag0. At first I write the table. Number 2, I detect which will be oxidized, which has high oxidation, and which will be reduced, which high reduction potential. I write the anode and the cathode, and then I balance it, the very important points. Why? Because it is lose 2 electrons. So I must get 2 moles, 2 ions of Ag to get 2 of Ag0. This is the cell diagram. يبقى take care about which will be anode and which will be cathode. The anode will be which has high oxidation. Number 2, cathode will be has high reduction or low oxidation. Number 2, cell diagram contains at the left side convert from 0 to positive because it is oxidized, and the right side. Convert from positive to 0 to 0. Or the oxidation number decrease. Sometimes it gives negative and turns to 0, or positive turns to negative or 0. Take care. When the positive charge increase, oxidation number increase, it means oxidation. It will be anode. When the the positive charge decreases, it will be the cathode. Okay? Then we want to get EMF, electromotive force. Electromotive force means it may be the difference between two oxidation or the difference between two reduction, but I must be, if I get two oxidation, I must start by the anode. 0.14 minus 0.8, it will be 0.94 volt. As the same if I get the difference between two reduction or oxidation and reduction. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. It was a great honor and pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear students, for being with us. Don't forget to send your question on our Facebook page. I'll wait for you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.